there's so many people that go through loss, through grief, and they stay stuck there.
Yeah.
And it really breaks my heart to see them stuck. Anyone can create change within, no matter who you are, your circumstances, and you're so worthy of doing that. There was a dark point where I just would be in my car and I would just hope that a truck would take me out. But I chose my happy, and I chose every day to keep living that best version of self.
Yeah.
And I really believe if you give yourself permission, you can be that best version of self.
Listeners, today we have the phenomenal Heidi March, who is a clinical hypnotherapist, mindset and wellness coach, and just all over beautiful human being. So it's great to have you on the show, Heidi. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Jim.
Before we jump into all the magic that you do in your business and with your clients, I'd really love to hear a little bit about your before story. So what were you doing before you stepped into the world of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, okay. So before I stepped into this world, I was a mum. Well, I still am a mum to three beautiful wild boys. And at that point, I fell pregnant with our third baby, and so I was in real estate back then, and I wanted to have some time to spend with that third baby, because prior to that, my husband and I we were managing a tourist park.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, yep. So I kind of, with those other two, with the firstborn, I went back to work 6 months after the first one, then 1 week after the second. And so it's just like, okay, I'm going to have time off. So I got to have like 2 years off with the third baby. But in that time, in that 2 years off, when our third baby was 8 months old, my dad went missing out at sea and never returned. And that was a huge event that happened in our life. And it really made me think of where I'm headed and what I'm doing at a certain point. But I did have a certain point where I was really, really lost. And I didn't know where I was headed because I wasn't actually working. I was that stay-at-home mum. And I was in a really dark place. And, having 3 kids, you just get up, you do what you got to do as a mum. But there was points where I didn't want to be here anymore because the pain was so hard.
Yeah, I mean, some pretty massive events happening sort of in concession. And obviously, that sort of led you to develop skills and do what you're doing now. But how did you manage before that? Was it literally just following routine and focusing on the kids, or?
It was, and focusing on the kids and knowing that I had to get up every day for them, and also I felt like I had to be that strong one for my brother. Because I call him my little big brother. He's bigger than me, but I'm the oldest. So there was a dark point where I just would be in my car and I would just hope that a truck would take me out. But I had to keep on moving on, like for my 3 boys. They it wasn't pain that I had to live for. It was for the love for my kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was down at the beach one day and I chose to create my happy. You have that choice. So I could choose to keep on being on that vibration I was, or I can flip it.
Yeah.
Because, happiness just doesn't come. You've got to create that. You've got to choose it.
I love that you speak to that, because I think, a lot of people that we talk to, especially, parents or people that are even, unemployed for whatever other reasons. I mean, being a parent is a full-time job in itself.
Yeah.
But just that leap to go, right, I'm moving from, my kids being my thing to the business being the thing. And a lot of people will build the business for the kids to show them that it is possible. Like, what was that moment for you to go, right, this is the next step?
Had a download moment.
Okay. Tell us more.
A download moment at the beach, like, because I'm quite a spiritual person as well. And I was talking to a lady. She had lost her husband 6 months prior, and she's like, Heidi, I just don't know how you do it. Anyway, and I had experienced hypnotherapy myself years and years and years ago to get through my, you know, the grief of the loss of mum that happened 10 years prior. And it helped me move through childhood trauma as well. And I said, why don't you do hypnotherapy? And I had this download moment, and it's just like, I'm going to become a hypnotherapist. And that was my drive. And not only did I become a hypnotherapist, it opened up so many more doors. So it really helped me on my journey, on my own healing journey, but now I get to help others as well.
Yeah. Big traumas is an interesting one, like especially in business and when it comes to people stepping out, because I know for myself, like I lost my mum when I was 5 and then, you know, sort of had to become a leader in my family quite quickly because my dad was going through it and tried to be the best dad that he could, and he was. But obviously being a single parent, you know, the eldest kind of has to take on some responsibility. I'd love you to talk to a little bit more about how those pinnacle moments in your life shaped what you want to do in your business, because I think as business owners, we find a solution for ourselves or for somebody else, and we just want to make more impact through that. Like, you know, have you noticed that on your journey and with other business owners that you've talked to?
Yeah, those pinnacle moments are absolutely incredible. And for me, a pinnacle moment is that there's so many people that go through loss, through grief, through loss, and they stay stuck there.
Yeah.
And it really breaks my heart to see them stuck.
Yeah.
And for me, I could have chosen to stay stuck and to be in my misery and my grief because of the loss of losing both parents. But I chose my happy, and I chose every day to keep living that best version of self.
Yeah.
And I really believe if you give yourself permission, you can be that best version of self each and every day. And
it's not to say that you have to go through some sort of trauma to grow a business, but but I think it's interesting because you're right. Like a lot of people choose to stay stuck, choose to allow that story, allow that moment to shape them not moving forward, when really a lot of people that create fantastic business success, it's because they, exactly like you've said, create that happy, find the impact or the opportunity or whatever it is within those terrible times to build something better for themselves. So it's quite beautiful. So was there a particular, I know you mentioned the download, was that the instant moment that you knew you wanted to build what you're building now, or did you go through nuances of what business would look like on the journey to finding what you do now with clients?
Yeah, for me, it's just presented itself. And, you know, I found an amazing training company to train with.
Yep.
Like I've trained with two amazing companies. And they've been heart-centered. Like, so for me is my heart's led me to where I am. And I really think for me anyway, with my business, if my heart's not in it, I can't do it.
Yeah. Values and values and heart come up a lot in these episodes. What does your business engine look like now in terms of that? So what's, you know, the driving forces behind what you do and why you do it?
Yeah, my driving force is to create that change within. And with that, I really create those beautiful nurturing sacred spaces for people, whether it's one-on-one or in group settings, for everyone to just create whatever change that is within themselves, like whether it's like grief, bad trauma, bad habits, shifting what you need to shift from your body, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever it is. It just makes me smile when I think about it.
I can see it already.
Yeah. And for me moving forward, like being part of Level Up, it's made me dream even bigger and made me really think like how I want to impact, but it's also made me reflect on my own energy and where I am getting stuck in my business.
Yeah. So I mean, you've built quite a successful business already, and it's been so beautiful to have you in the Level Up family and community at that stage. What have been those moving parts when it's come to you scaling, to continue that freedom, to create that impact that you want to create?
Yeah. So getting really, really clear with the North Star.
Yep.
And the 4 C's.
Yep.
Which are amazing. And also, taking that time to like break everything down. And, to realize what your niche is as well. For me, I've got many niches, but what I've worked out is everything leads to that one.
Yeah.
And that's what I've discovered recently, and it's just like, okay, so I'm feeling quite balanced, and excited with the growth.
Yeah, and I mean that's what we always talk about in marketing is the niche are the people that you market to, not always the people that you work with. So are you finding that's kind of evolving as you continue to grow and scale your business, that more ideas and nuances and audiences are popping out of the cracks as you go? Yes,
it is 100%, but I just got to keep reminding myself to stop going for every shiny thing.
Love it. So on that point, what's been one of the biggest challenges on your entrepreneurial journey?
For me is because my business is established and I do have a beautiful flow of clients, is the biggest challenge is working on my business and not in it.
Yep.
Yeah, and carving out that regular time and to create that structure to go, okay, all right, I'm going to work on my business in this amount of hours, even if someone rings up and they can only do, this particular day and this particular time.
And when did that shift? Because I think a lot of people do that as well. They get through that growth phase where it's like, hey, I just need to, it's just consistent income, making sure I can put food on the table. Do I need to go back to a full-time job? No, great. I've got this moving. It's recurring income. But then they almost hit that wall where it's like, crap, now I've got to figure out, how do I get more clients? How do I make more impact? How do I scale? Because I'm going into that scale phase. What was that realization moment for you?
I think it was when I had this gap where my leads were like, had this big gap with leads. Because, I do Google ads and, that is where heaps of my leads come through. But I hadn't put any focus into like doing the back end. And so that was a huge, huge point for me. Like, oh my goodness.
The system wasn't there.
Yeah. So
awesome. So something to work on. What's felt like a big win? What's been one of the biggest wins that you've had?
A big win is, for me, is community. To be surrounded by this beautiful community of people, and we are all so different.
Yeah.
And I really feel that there's absolutely no judgment.
Yeah.
And you can just be yourself. And it really lets you get yourself out of your head, even though you need to be in your head because, you're a business owner, you're wearing that business hat. So, yeah.
It's the inspirational moments, I think, that work for me because you're right. I mean, it really does feel like a family and that, even though a lot of people are running their own race and might not have a team yet, or even the people that do have a team but feel like they can't talk to their team, that connection, that growth together, that development, it's really, really crucial to business. I mean, what would a moment be for yourself where, like you've said, you still need to maintain that, be in your head for your business, but personal growth is so crucial to your business growth. Has there been a particular moment where you felt that leap happen for you?
Yeah, like I think this last month for me, I really felt, okay, I'm ready to take that leap. I'm ready to really get in and market certain areas and create, certain programs. And it's just like, okay, I'm doing this. It's just I'm working on my business, not in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what's like a tool or a shift or a system or an offer, like something that's really helped you kind of break through that? Like what's kind of helped you shift?
knowing how I operate,
Mm-hmm.
you know, understanding my own self, like, you know, understanding my body, understanding my languages and everything like that. So I know me. And so now stepping into doing like leveling up as such, creating those new programs and things like that. I'm going to get to unknow me in a different way, but still knowing me, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about the languages, because I know, you know, for me, especially when I was starting my journey, you kind of feel like you know yourself, and then you realize through doing this work and seeking personal development out that you sometimes don't.
Yeah.
For the listeners out there that are wondering, you know, what are languages, like tell us more about that.
There's many languages. So I will so the way I operate is I'm an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
I can be very literal. I am very kinesthetic and then visual, and auditory is like bottom on the list for me. And my love language is acts of service.
Cool.
So, and you know, and I know how I know my weaknesses as such, my flaws, but I also know my strengths.
So understanding those languages is really what drives your success.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. When you picture real freedom, you know, when you were in real estate and that sort of days, obviously it was getting out and starting your own thing and you know, continuing to be there for your kids. What does real freedom actually look like for you now?
Freedom for me, when I visualize it, is me choosing to work when I want to work. And my heart just feels so open. I just want to put my hands up in the air and just like look out at the beautiful beach with the beautiful sun. And I also, you know, see my kids and my husband behind me, and we're just having a beautiful life. And yeah, our property is just exactly how we envision it.
This is it. Clear vision, clear direction. What kind of legacy are you building?
Oh, there's so many legacies, isn't there? Like when you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
That anyone can create change within. You know, no matter who you are, your circumstances, and you're so worthy of doing that.
Yeah, I think worth is a very big part of it, because a lot of people don't feel like they're special enough, or they've got the trauma or the story to take those steps. I mean, could you speak a little bit more to that with the experience that you've had and the clients that you work with, that sort of good enough thing?
Yeah, it is a huge thing. You know, pretty much every person that I work with, they do have that, you know, that underlying issue of unworthiness. And, you know, a lot of the time it has been linked to some kind of trauma, whether it's a little T or a big T. And, you know, quite often people will walk in and they're just like, nah, I don't have any trauma, but this and this happened. And, you know, so you have events in your life that shape you.
Yeah. Where do you think people should start? For those people that have started to identify that there is a not good enough or a unworthy conversation going on inside their heads, and they, you know, want to say enough is enough, but they just don't know how to move forward. Where do you feel they should start? What do you recommend? Be
honest with yourself and talk to someone that you really, really trust and that you can, you know, open your heart up to. That's the first step of action. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. We're now going to do some rapid fire. So a few quick questions just to, I guess, you know, we love to end with this in the episodes, just to really show people that, I guess, exactly what we've been talking about, that they're not on their own, that while sometimes we think that, especially in those darkest moments, you know, we are on our own, but really there is connection and alignment in many, many areas. So I'll just say some things to you, and I just love to hear what the first thing is that comes out. Okay. Yeah? Yep. What's one belief that you believe holds most entrepreneurs back? One belief, they're not good enough. What's one strategy or tool that you would never go without again? Ring of power.
one myth about freedom-based business that you wish we would all stop believing?
That you don't have to put energy into it.
Mm. And one thing you'd say to the version of you just starting out?
Just say yes and go with your heart.
Beautiful. Heidi, I've loved the chat. It's been such a beautiful conversation. For those listening that have connected and want to, explore what you do and connect with you, where can they go? How can they connect?
Yeah, so you can connect with me via my website if you want, within waratarwellness.com.au, or you can follow me on social media within Waratah Wellness, both on Instagram and Facey.
And we'll be sure to drop the links somewhere. So, yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks, Jim.